Marco is in Fulham. Marco, good evening. What's your question?
Good evening, Mr. Barnett. Thanks for taking my call. I'm just calling on behalf of my daughter. What it is, she drove down a manhole cover stroke pothole in February this year. We took pictures of it, etc. She drove on for about half a mile, and then the whole suspension collapsed, broke down. We contacted the relevant bodies, TfL, and the insurance companies. Well, TfL have turned around and said that they've checked the roads, and according to their checks, it's nothing to do with them. Her insurance company...
Sorry, when you say nothing to do with them, in the sense of they're not responsible for the road, or in the sense they say there was nothing wrong with the road at the time?
They said they've checked the road. Was it they said? They said they checked the road. They've just checked the roads. They do routine checks. That's what they said. They've done routine checks.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, it's not their responsibility. The thing is...
what's your question, Marco?
The question is... Could we take the matter up into county court, please?
You can, but it's not straightforward in terms of the amount of money. What's the damage to the car worth? How much will it cost to put it right?
About £1,800.
Okay, so it's a small claim. Small claims are under £10,000. Here's the position. The Highway Authority has a duty to maintain the road. That's set out in the Highways Act. The Highways Authority isn't responsible, though, for every pothole and every bump in the road. They are required to have a reasonable system of inspection and repair. And as long as they inspect it reasonably regularly, if the pothole developed after the last inspection, and it wasn't there at the time of their previous inspection, they're not liable. If, however, the pothole was there at the time of the previous inspection and they didn't do anything about it, or they don't inspect sufficiently regularly, then you would have a claim, or your daughter would have a claim. This is the sort of situation where solicitors are very good, because they're very good at getting the information out of local authorities about how often they did inspections, about whether the road was categorised or classified as an A, B or C road, which governs the frequency of the inspections that should take place, and they get disclosure of the previous records of inspections. Problem is, a solicitor's not going to help you here, Marco, because the value of the claim is not enough to get you out of the small claims court into the proper county court, meaning that you would have to pay the solicitors yourself. The council doesn't pay, the Highway Authority doesn't pay, and the cost of the solicitor would be more than the £1,800 at stake. So you're going to have to do it yourself, I'm afraid, which isn't easy. The next step for you to do is to contact the Highway Authority again and ask them for disclosure of their inspection records for the area in question. That's the phrase to use, pre-action disclosure of the inspection records. And they should send them to you. If they don't, you can always go to court and ask a judge. But again, that's technical and it's a little bit difficult and it takes some time. But they should send it to you because it's quite a routine thing to do. And you can look at it and see if at the last inspection the pothole was there. And you can also have a look at whether they've been meeting their own targets for frequency of inspections. In the last couple of years, of course, local authorities have been quite short-staffed and have been going short on inspections because of the pandemic, because of shortages of staff.
Thank you.
Okay. Marco, does that help?
Yes, it does. It's
good. What's your daughter okay, most importantly?
Yes, it was a bit of a shock to her because I said the car just spun off the road. The cars are written, it's total write-off. So she's a bit shocked by it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That sort of thing can be absolutely terrifying. Thank you so much for the call, Marco, and my very best wishes to your daughter. Normally these sorts of claims where someone gets hurt because of tripping over a paving stone or there being a pothole, they usually do have solicitors involved, because if somebody actually hurts themselves and suffers a personal injury, then it's much, much easier to get costs from the other side because the small claims limit is much lower and it's very easy to cross that small claims threshold, meaning it's practical to instruct a solicitor. But where there's only property damage involved. That threshold is £10,000, which is quite a high figure, I'm afraid.